Friday afternoon. My name's Claire. Nice to see you all. I'm an absolute host, and I've got two lovely people on stage with me. Have you all heard of Rebuild with Hope? Yeah. So this is Claire Taylor and Joshua Hill from Rebuild with Hope. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. First of all, I don't know if any of you heard about the event that was held last week in Factory Floor, the Love Reclaimed, which was, it was absolutely amazing, wasn't it, Claire? Give us a bit.
Can you now see?
It was fantastic. We had a really good evening.
All right.
I said to Jess earlier, who was with us on the night, I wish I was still there. It was so good. It was everything that we hoped it would be. And it was a night of second chances. We named it that because that's what we offer to the people that we support. And it was a night that brought together community, fashion, compassion, art. We kind of felt that we've got everything covered, and everybody who came along was aligned with what we do and what we want to provide. And we just had a fantastic evening. The venue was perfect.
I love the sequins. Lots of sequins. It was amazing. There was a fashion show going all through, loads of stalls selling. There was a Darth Vader statue. There was so much amazing stuff there. But for any of you who don't know what Rebuild with Hope is about, you might have seen it. It was touted as the biggest charity shop in the UK, wasn't it? When the shop first opened, when it was where Devon's was.
That's right. So we'd probably been in operation for about 2 years at that point, and we had small stores, but we were invited into Debenhams as our first big store. And we got the title biggest charity shop in the UK, which was brilliant. It got us lots of coverage, but I think I wanted that kind of juice was a misunderstanding of who we are, because we're not a charity shop. We're a shop that supports a charity. So our shop is all new items, but the sales of those are what supports our charity, including.
Can I move over to you, Joshua? So Rebuild with Hope, we know it was set up to help people with, I know the line it says with boundaries to work, barriers. I don't know the line clearly, I don't know the line. But then we have with the barriers to work. Can you elaborate on that? Why it was set up and what those barriers are, what they were initially?
Yeah, sure. I mean, going all the way back to the beginning for it, as we thought, the co-founders work together is prison source. I see always as 20 years prison experience was prison looker, and her co-founder were going inside prison to support people through workshops on behalf of the and through recognise it. The revolving door of the venue to the side, the one that gives you really to all people say after prison or as they were due to make the transition. So that kind of a focus initially was in support of people back into work, back into community service that left prison. Because slowly, we've been in operation in Tolkien for about 4 years. And over time, I've kind of saw the work we were doing was also could also be beneficial to people in the community who may have missed while we were in prison, or he left, or people just generally in the community who were chronically unemployed, should step off in to the general community as well. And as a result of that, now we've got two main branches of our programme, which is the Justice Focus programmes, which are those service prisoner recall probation, and then the community side of our programmes, which focuses on particularly the general community and support families get back into work, get over those barriers.
Do you know, can I just say, I was actually out on a police operation this morning, and it showed why Rebuild with Hope is needed, because there was some trouble in the town centre. Somebody who the police officer knew, he reoffended backwards and forwards, in and out of prison. So I said, well, that shows that there's something missing. There's something missing because people shouldn't be going into prison and coming out and just back in. And that's what you do, isn't it?
That's it. There's quite a healthy chunk of population, kind of repeat reoffenders, and they come out for a month or two. They haven't got the tools they need to reintegrate back into society, find their way back into their old ways of life, climbing back into prison, in and out again. Again, that's what Louise had a witness firsthand as great governor, and thought, well, if we do something to meet these people where they are and give support that they do there for prison, crime is the first step for them, and there's some sort of upkeep or some of the upshift. Yeah, I mean, the reoffending rate is like also about program. In general, it's about 30% for our program. It's about 3%. Black in 3.
That's amazing. So 30% to 3%.
Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing. It's so yeah. Did you get that? So the reoffending rate 30%, but when they've been through you guys, 3%. So I think that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, there's still the odd case that we've had where people have kind of released into the community at the time where they unfortunately revert back to old ways and they'll be prisonable. I mean, the last 11 people that joined us in the last quarter pick up the rifles with full-time employment. Some of them are still service prison, working full-time with these untested devices. So had a job line ready for when they left prison, be a software, go with us. The employees have been introduced into or the interviews that before in advance. So yeah,
That's rewarding, isn't it? How does it make you both feel when you see results like that?
I mean, for me personally, I was having this conversation with him just up today. One of the things that I really love about the community that we create, often services like ours work with someone, get them set up, if you send it off, and the next person goes to stand working through the chair. I think because of the way that we're set up. So I booked into one of the guys who'd been through our program 3 months ago. It's just like full-time work. It just popped in. It's just nice to see people live progress, like to get down with the line, and want to come over and say, well, thanks for the support, because thanks for that help, and I really take on and move on.
Yeah, because it's easy to write people off, isn't it? It's really easy to write people off and not think they deserve a second chance.
Definitely, and I think as well, Josh is obviously speaking about people who work on your programme, but the people who do more work more broadly in the community, something that we really prioritize is our community hub. So that's something that we set up just over a year ago. It was a unit that was our previous shop, and it was empty, and we had the opportunity to use it for a space to connect with the community, and I think that's something we've done really well. And something we've done from there is our school uniform project, and we've been running that for 4 years now, and each year it gets bigger, it gets better. We support more people. We decide something that we do as well. We want to support people with cost of living and support families. And I think every year that we do that school uniform project, I learn something new about how difficult it is for families to get ready for going back to school and to be able to afford that school uniform. And something that if you've not been in that position, you wouldn't even really think of. So we work with other providers when we do that programme in Equal Life, the Citizens Advice Bureau. We work with within councils, the income maximisation team. We work with Unified Credit Union, and Unified told us that school uniforms are the second biggest reason for a loan. So I would never think that someone would need to take out a loan just to buy the children a school uniform, but that is the case. And as well,
Guys, they're expensive though.
They are.
I know the branded ones, don't they? It's really expensive.
And we managed to sell them for £1 height. So it is a big operation for us. It's something that we do need a lot of support with. We use a lot of resources to be able to deliver that project, but it's something that we think is really worthwhile. When you hear that truancy increases at the start of the school term because some children haven't got the school uniform ready to go back to school.
Is that true?
That's a real story.
Is that embarrassed?
Yeah, well, because the parents can't afford the uniform. I mentioned that they're not ready to go back to school, but imagine that you want to go back to school, but you can't, but then probably you get in trouble.
Yeah.
When you do go back to school. So it is a really rewarding thing with the school uniform, and luckily lots of people, that's the thing that people think that they can get on board with to support us. So they might not necessarily understand how they can help us with our programmes where we're supporting people who want to get back into employment. They can, but the school uniform programme is something that people can really get on board with and engage with.
Can I delve into you both now? We've known each other a while, and we're from Wigan Warriors. What was it about Rebuild with Hope that made you want to get involved with it, be a part of it, and how long has it been a part of your life?
Yeah, well, I've been with Rebuild with Hope for 2 years now. So I met Louise whilst I was working for another charity. And what I really liked about Rebuild with Hope is that it's a holistic support. So like Joshua was referring to before, is we're working with people with complex needs, but we help them with those issues and those problems, and we support them not just with maybe the skills to get a job, but the skills to keep a job. Maybe that's around how they manage their finances, just their own kind of behaviours, you know, with their own self-discipline and fitting it back into society and how they best do that to achieve jobs. That's what really feels to me, is that it is a holistic package. And as well, is I was offered a role in community, that's where I come from, community with the Wigan Warriors, and I get to do some fantastic things, like you said, the event that we did, and because it's a new charity, it's really exciting that there's lots of new opportunities.
Right, you, Joshua, how long have you been with them and why are you a part of it?
So I joined New Build with Hope in 2023. I joined in the charity with 8 people. I was the 8th person to join at the time. And it was a case of a few things. It was timing. That worked out really well on to offer support to the charity generally. It just worked for my life at that time. And it's just, I've kind of grown with the charity now. We're 9 to 5 feet over it. We had one store at that time. We've got 9 stores now, so it's...
Where are the stores?
So we've got 2 in Wigan, 2 in Runcorn, 1 in Wrexham, 1 in the Zorgalos, 1 in Ulster, 1 in Risby, 1 in Kirkby, and a cafe.
That's brilliant, so it's really far-reaching, isn't it? It's not just having an impact here in Wigan.
That's it, yes. Across the Northwest, we set out to be a Northwest in this charity. But a lot of us from Wigan, that Wigan to the house.
That's because Wigan people are the best at stuff like this, aren't we? That's why.
So it's just naturally grown in Wigan, where kind of our main base of operations is here. I mean, we're across Wigan as well, in Tilsley and that too. Ashton was just at open up in Ashton, so Wigan to the house is a lot of that.
You mentioned the community up here, the Grand Arcade, isn't it? The guy from the bike was here. I saw him this morning in Wigan. He was setting up a store like in the town centre with the police going through this, that, and the other. So, you know, there's all. If you've not been into the community up in the Grand Arcade, it's upstairs. Go and have a look. There's a book cycle there. There's a stall that's run by students. There's all sorts up there. And there's like a little coffee place where you can just chill out, have a sit down, have a drink. It's brilliant. It's really good. So I just want to ask as well, challenges. What's been the toughest thing? Who wants to go first? Toughest thing.
Because Josh might have more challenges than me. So I think generally my challenge is kind of raising that awareness of who we are and what we do. And like you just said, we've got 9 retail outlets now, and for people to just recognise that and see us as a shop and not really understand what we're doing, that is kind of our challenge, is to educate people and see what is going on behind that. But probably, like I say, you've got more.
Can I just ask, why is that a challenge to get people to? Why is it such a challenge that people don't know?
I don't know. I think, like say, maybe because we were first touted as the biggest charity shop, and then we're not a charity shop. Like I say, that operation, that is the vehicle that facilitates the charity. Yeah. So
because when we did that video, people were going, "Oh, that's expensive for a charity shop," but there were loads of people commenting saying it's not a charity shop.
Not a charity shop.
You know, and I think it's doing things like that, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think we respond to that, don't we? We do want to kind of make everything really affordable. I think the items in the shop are like 1/3 of the price at a retail. You don't, even though there's things that would be more expensive, we don't price anything over 3 figures. We kind of keep to £99 the most expensive thing that you see, even though some of the things are worth a lot more in there. And yeah, just that perception really, that just being a shop, we're trying to educate people that within that is the training operation, that people are having work experience, they are having training for courses, and yeah, it's a lot going on behind the scenes of the York City.
You are, please challenge.
Yeah, so I think on the programmes, obviously my role, I run programmes and pathways to provide for the people that support. I think the biggest challenge really is stigma. So we can provide lots of coping help for you to get ready for work. We currently have 14 circuit defenders and more people who have had experience of circuit prison. Some of the best employees that we've got in that roster of 95 that work with us. We're kind of breaking that barrier there with our employers to try and find opportunities for the lads that have gone through training. The trainers, when they're ready to move on, they've got to disclose what their crime has been. People can oversee them for their past rather than what it is that they're trying to do moving forward. And,
is that improving now, or is there still a bit stigma around it?
There's still a lot of barriers, definitely. I mean, even within the prisons, it's crazy. So obviously there's jobs that people can apply for, when they're on with his temporary license, and then the applications, he kind of state specific, so any crimes and violence, people, you can't apply for the job. So somebody who might, come in the van and apply 15 years ago, 10 years ago, has shown all this progression, all this work towards being ready, wanting to change their lives, need not apply. So it's definitely still
They're being written off, aren't they? Like that. But I presume there are some crimes you won't with it.
I mean, throughout our services, essentially, isn't being any daft, because they've got a managed brace at safeguard all the time. So, but anyone who works for those has done a 3-month program with those rates, turned up at 9 a.m, worked up by full instruction, the weeks Friday. I mean, we would prefer anybody for a job application or interview that we're confident, ready to take job on, or even that work experience of. But yeah, kind of liquid with applause, finding those opportunities. One of the things that we they're tested by some trick that people can have someone work in their organisation for 2 to 6 weeks on work experience on a certain payroll, where we continue, we'll have to get terms of their license. For example, how you started the district. Someone who wants to improve themselves and new work experience, and even that you think that's about sometimes how busy people are. Oftentimes, right, is
That's really good to know, that work experience. That's great, isn't it? So you can have somebody come and work with you for 6 weeks, not pay anything, and if they're ready, you keep them. If they're not ready, just
How you doing?
yeah. So you don't lose anything.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's sorry, Tash. It is about the opportunity. It's not about we are looking for jobs, but we're looking for opportunities for people, because people, if they've not been employed for a long time, maybe they don't know what it is they want to do, or maybe they think they know what they want to do, and then when they try it, it isn't for them. So it is all about opportunity. If you can give someone an opportunity to be in your workplace, we're funding that, and then there doesn't have to be a job at the end of it because they've had that experience.
Do you know what? That kind of point rounds us up nicely, because we're almost at the end. But the last question was, what can everybody in this room, what can businesses, what can local organisations do to help rebuild with hope?
Well, yeah, I suppose from my perspective, kind of internally with our programme and people support, on the inside of the charity, is offering those opportunities for people to be able to come new work experience. Because following on from what you were saying, doesn't necessarily need to be a job at the end of it, but that 6-week work experience that's a bit with you and your organisation might help them be a more eligible applicant for another job more, because they've done a bit of work and short and kind of turn up, but you should have reference that you might give at the end of it. It's all really beneficial, and it's like us, if we're looking for opportunity, rather than you'll hire 3 of your guys, it's come out and a bit of work to be ready to support your organisation, and then I'll let you speak.
Then other support that is really helpful for us is sponsorship support. So, for example, just being here today is fantastic that we've been given the opportunity to speak. The Heaton Group are really good supporters of us and have hosted our events, and things like that really opens doors for us and gives us the opportunity to be in a space where other people can see us. So that sort of opportunity is really beneficial for us. Investment obviously is really beneficial for us. If you're able to sponsor any packages that we offer or any events that we run, we're always looking for sponsorship. So things like we've got a golf day coming up in June, so we've got lots of sponsorships available for that. So if that's something you'd like to get involved with, speak to us. And then just a really easy way that you can get involved is come and volunteer with us. And if you do that, spend a day with us, you will see what we've been speaking about. You'll see that behind the scenes, and you'll meet the people, because I think kind of when Josh is speaking, it reminds me of what we do. But what really brings it to life is when you meet the people. And one of our colleagues, Fran, who spoke at the event last week, the response that she got after speaking at our event was incredible. She had so many people want to speak to her because people engaged and understood what she'd been through, because she's got lived experience of being in prison. When you hear it from the people that we're working with, it makes so much more sense. So if you could come and bring your team, do a volunteer day with us, see behind the scenes, like I say, meet the people that we support, and then hopefully it all makes sense, and it might be something that you get involved with.
Brilliant. So thank you. I think the work they're doing is amazing. So show of hands, who's going to go and volunteer? Get a picture. Oh yeah, thank you so much, Claire and Josh. I love Rebuild with Hope. I love the shop. I love the community hub, and I loved it. But I just spoke about what you do. I think it's brilliant. So yeah, give a round of applause. Brilliant.
How enjoyed the rest of your afternoon today? Welcome to the race, Sally.
Shippa Viski. See this.